So class changes incoming November 26th. Blood Decay. Fuck yeah. I love starting off with Blood Decay. This is good. I don't know what any of this does, but we're buffing Blood Decay. All right. So they buffed Obliterate 12%, Frost Strike 12%, Breath of Sindragosa reduced. Okay, so they buffed their damage, but nerfed Breath, which I don't think you play Breath in PvP, right? You play it in PvE though. So Frost Decay is gonna just have more damage on their one shot still, but I think Frost Decay is still gonna be the same. They buffed Swiftmend by 25% for Resto Druid. That's a pretty crazy buff for Resto Druid, especially because you can play double Swiftmend. So cool. I mean, Swiftmend got a massive buff. Cool. Feral Druid, Rip, Rake, and Ramp Ferocity damage increased by 10% does not apply to PvP. Okay, so Rip, Rake, and then this is a Incarn Dot. Okay, so it doesn't apply to PvP. Apex Predator's chance to trigger against multiple targets increased slightly. Don't even know what that is. Druid of the Claw. Strike for the heart. Increase the crit strike chance and damage of Shred, Swipe, and Mangle by 15% was 10. Okay. I did the same thing for Guardian. Hunter. Merciless blow damage reduced by 15% does not apply to PvP. Okay, so these don't even apply for PvP. Okay, scroll down. Frostfire is still underperforming for both Frost and Fire. We're targeting buffs to Frostfire's various procs and providing a more substantial throughput buff via Fire Mastery's haste value. Fire's an underperforming single target and can use some help rather than distribute this bonus through a myriad of spells. We're opting to put most of our budget into Pyroblast to ensure this spell is keeping pace with the rest of Fire's kits. Okay. Okay, so they're buffing Frostfire for Fire Mage. I wonder if we'll see Fire Mage at all. I don't know what any of this does for Fire, only Frost, so buffing Meteor damage too. Pyro got an 8% damage buff, so maybe Fire will sneak back into being played. Frostfire for Fire Mastery. Fire Mastery grants 2% haste was 1, so this doesn't apply. So none of the changes for Frostfire apply to PvP, only Fire. Okay. Windwalker Monk. Kind of with the Celestial Strength of the Blackhawks damage increased by 100%. Flight of the Red Crane damage increased by 100%. Courage of the White Tiger damage increased by 35%. Fist of Fury damage increased by 20%. Blackout Kick, Flurry of Zwen. Okay. They buff Fist and Blackout Kick. Interesting. Greatest Impulse now increased the damage of your next Blackout Kick by 200%. Was 125. It's a lot of modifiers. Shadowboxing Treads now increased the damage of Blackout Kick by 20%. Was 10 and causes an additional Blackout Kick. Okay, so Blackout Kick got a lot of modifiers here. I feel like Blackout Kick is decent, right? I feel like it was decent this expansion, or was it bad for PvP? Because you're getting a lot of getting a nice buff. Our biggest Blackout hits for 1 million. Okay, so 8% on top of Courageous Impulse being 200% increased instead of 125. And then you obviously have the Teachings of the Monastery or whatever, so extra kicks. Okay. Guys, WizKid's not happy about that. It looks like they're buffing Windwalker Monk. We'll see what they do in PvP, though. Okay. This talent's kind of okay for Mistweaver. Got buffed there. Okay. Lightsmith. Divine Inspiration's chance to proc an armament decreased by 50% for prot paladins. Or for protection specialization. Okay. So they nerfed prot. Get the hell out of here, prot pallies. Nobody likes you. Holy Priest. Dude, Holy Priest got another buff to Serenity and Sanctify. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, so Holy Priest got a Sanctify and Serenity buff 40% like a month ago at this point, month and a half ago. And they're buffing them again. They're buffing both Holy Word spells again by 25%. Okay. I mean, that's going to help, but okay. Interesting. Rogues. Plague damage increased by 45%. They buffed Black Powder. I don't think this does much for PvP, right? Ellie Shaman. Chain Lightning damage from Ancestor increased by 30%. Lava Burst damage increased by 15% from Ancestor. Okay, so they buffed your Ancestors for Farseer Ellie. They buffed the damage from Farseer Ancestors for Resto Shaman. Okay, they got a slight damage buff as well to Earthshock. Damn, they got an Earthshock buff too? Earthshock already hits so hard. Okay. Developer notes for Warrior. Colossus Warriors are meant to be innately tough and hard to kill. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I'm preparing. Oh my god, don't take us back to Ret Warrior. Don't take us back to Ret Warrior. We had Ret Warrior for 4 years straight, dude. We're increasing their overall resilience. This is particularly aimed at helping level the field between Mountain Thane and Colossus for protection warriors. More passive resistance for Colossus versus Mountain Thane's more active mitigation playstyle. Okay. This gives you damage reduction 5% instead of 2.5%. This gives you enemies damaged by demolish to deal up to 10% less damage to you. Okay. Okay, it's a lot. It's not like I thought it was going to be. Okay, so they just buffed the demolish and then the passive damage. Okay. And then prot as well. All right, PvP changes. Dude, they nerfed Blood Decay. Get fucked, Team Liquid. Get shit on, Team Liquid. Oh my god. Team Liquid, when are you guys gonna learn, man? When are you gonna learn? When are you gonna learn, Chuck? Stop playing tanks. Stop playing tanks. Stop playing that garbage. Nobody wants it. All right. Death Strike nerfed. That's what we like to see. Get out of here, Blood Decay. Festering wound damage increased by 15%. Nice. Okay, so they buff Festering wound damage, and then they buff Festermite effectiveness in PvP. So Unholy DK got some love. We like that. Dude, I actually was kind of sad they nerfed DK because DK Rogue and Hunter DK were really good for us, but then they nerfed it. So that's unlucky. I feel like this will definitely help. I don't think it'll be enough to make DK OP, but I think it'll help. When you're playing a class like DK and you're getting more damage, then it's going to help. So it might not be that much, but helps a little bit. And then other changes matter too, so let's see. And speaking of other changes, they buffed Demon Hunter, so okay. I feel like this doesn't do much though, right? Like, Immolation Aura damage is probably okay, but Demon Bites, Demon Blades are the same thing. I don't think this matters. Fellblade damage buff. Yeah, I don't think these DH changes matter. I definitely think that the DK change is going to be good. I don't think they're going to be like OP, but it's going to be better. Like, I don't think people understand that even if you give a class like 3% damage, if you're playing a class that does only damage, then it's going to be better. If you buff Warriors damage, they're going to be better because what do Warriors do? They just do damage. That's all they bring to the table, right? DK is kind of similar. Demon Hunter is kind of similar, but I don't know. I don't know how much the DH changes are going to do much. DK changes are going to help, but don't think they're going to be OP. It looks like they buffed Wildstalker for Druid too. So they buffed Wildstalker by 25%, the blooms you have. So they buffed Bloom Healing from Wildstalker 25%, and they buffed up here, they buffed Swiftmen by 25%. And I think when you play Wildstalker, you play double Swiftmen. So, okay. I mean, Druid's going to be better for sure. Cool. Don't think Druid's going to be OP, but they're going to have more instant healing, which is nice. Like more burst healing, I would say, which will help them with that Swiftman change alone. A Marksman Hunter. Marksman damage has been lower than we'd like in general, and in particular, their effectiveness against casters has not been shining, so we're putting more power into their physical-based abilities. Oh my god. Venruki is rolling around, not in his grave because he's still alive, but probably in his bed or on his couch. Aim shot rapid fire buff. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I need to be constructive when I say this. Marksman Hunter design kind of sucks. And I feel like what always happens is they always end up buffing the same 2 spells and then they just one-shot you. Like anytime Marksman is bad, it's like, let's buff Aim Shot and let's buff Rapid Fire. Oh, they're still bad? Let's buff Aim Shot and let's buff Rapid Fire. And then eventually they one-shot everybody. I don't know. I think that's more of a design flaw. Because what else are you going to buff? Like you could buff like Arcane Shot, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like Marks is so weird for them to balance because every single time they're bad, they just buff the same 2 spells that one-shot you. Every single time, without fail. But I don't know what else they would do because, like, I feel like buffing Arcane Shot would be really weird. Like, I feel like that wouldn't do enough. Not a complaint, merely just an observation. Anytime Marksman is bad, they buff the same 2 spells, and then people start getting one-shot, and then they nerf the same 2 spells because people are getting one-shot. So, we'll see what happens here. But I feel like this is a common... This is like the Marksman Hunter cycle in PvP. Like, they suck, they get mega buffed to one-shot everybody, they get nerfed, they get buffed again, they still suck, they get buffed again, they one-shot everybody, they get nerfed, they get buffed, they one-shot everybody, they get nerfed, and it's like the same cycle. So... hopefully these are good changes. I mean, I haven't seen any Marksman Hunters. I only see BM Hunters. So hopefully more people can play different specs of Hunter. That'd be cool. I never really see Survival Hunter either. It's the same, like 3 people playing it at high rating. So, I mean, hopefully we'll see more Marksman. Cool. Mage. Arcane. God, I hate Arcane Mage. So Arcane Mage, it looks like, is just getting a mega buff. We're shifting Arcane's damage profile a bit away from burst damage. See, right here, didn't we just say... we just talked about this. How come they don't do that for Marksman Hunter? Like, is there... I feel like Marksman just has a weird design, right? Because the only other spell that you could buff would be to buff Arcane Shot. But right here is exactly what we're talking about. They're shifting Arcane's damage profile a bit away from burst damage and into their consistent damage. But like that's what Marksman Hunter has. It's the same problem, but in reverse. Okay, let's keep going. And increasing the effectiveness of Sun Fury to increase hero talent diversity. I don't even know what Sun Fury does for Arcane Mage, so we're gonna move past that. It looks like it's getting buffed though. Arcanosphere damage 40%. I don't think Arcanosphere hits too hard at the moment at all, so cool. Arcane Surge damage Arcane Surge increases damage by 20%, was 25. So they're nerfing their Arcane Surge burst 20% instead of 25. Okay. But then they're buffing Missiles, Blast, Barrage by 10, 10, and 15. Arcane Bombardment increases barrage damage by 20%. Okay, but they're also nerfing their barrage. Okay, so they're nerfing their barrage modifier too. Okay, so I mean, I feel like I've only seen Arcane Mage a few times this expansion, and it feels like they one-shot you with Arcane Surge, and then they suck outside of that. So these changes, obviously, with the developer notes, are trying to fix that. So, okay, cool. Windwalker Monk. Dance of the Wind now increases dodge chance by 2% per stack in PvP, was 10. Okay, this talent was really stupid. I think everyone can kind of agree this talent was really dumb in PvP. You just had passive dodge, so you would run up to a monk, even if they had low stacks, and try to bash them, and they would just dodge it. So, yeah, this talent, pretty stupid. They actually nerfed it, so it's going to be 2% per stack instead of 10. So they're going to have, 20% dodge at max stacks instead of 90. Or no, they're going to have 18% at max stacks, right? Instead of 90. Because I think it only stacks up to 9. Okay, so I think this is a good change. Windwalker got buffed a pretty good amount on their damage also, so I feel like this is a good change. I definitely think that this talent was really OP. But I'm surprised that they're not nerfing it for Mistweaver. So this is only a Windwalker nerf? Okay, it's kind of weird. Paladin, Retribution. Eye for an Eye damage increased by 50%. Okay, this is actually a really big change. What the hell? Eye for an Eye right now, I think they have the same damage for Ret and Holy. I think they're the same across the specs. Eye for an Eye, on average, hits for like 75k per tick. So now, if you attack a Ret into a Ret Paladin's wall, you're going to take, what, 100k plus damage per hit? I mean, that's kind of crazy for certain DPS, like rogues and stuff, and like even warriors or like anything with a lot of haste mashing globals into you. That's a lot of damage. It does add up. Or pet classes too. Pet classes, you can actually like kind of have like kill their pet too. Okay, that's an interesting change. I feel like that's definitely going to help people not want to tunnel Rets through wall. I think people will still attack Rets through their wall, but there is a chance that people will be a little bit more discouraged. Priest, here we go. Mind Games damage and healing reversal increased by 40%. That's a fucking insane buff. How hard does Mind Games hit right now? Let's see. I think Mind Games right now hits for like 500k, right? It's not very much. 500k or so. Mind Games. So I don't have Inner Shadow up either. So it did 340. So it did 350 or 340 and then a 722. Okay, so that's a lot. So the reversal on Mind Games is kind of insane. So the reversal part of Mind Games is going to be over 1 million now. Damn. It's going to be over 1 million. Damn, I wonder if people are going to play Mind Games again. So Mind Games is weird because as you see here, it's an honor talent. So I wonder if people are going to play Mind Games again because it does make it awkward that it's an honor talent now, but maybe you can find a way to play it. Maybe you can find a way to play it. It definitely helps, like in terms of 3s and stuff, or even 2s, like Shuffle. Being able to randomly Mind Games a healer could be pretty crazy. I don't know if you would drop Siphene. Yeah, I guess you're kind of stuck on talents. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, you're going to have to dispel it again, I think. If it does that much and people play it, you're probably going to have to dispel it if it's doing over 1 million. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to drop it as Shadow Priest. Maybe Holy or Disc you can drop a talent and play it. I don't know. All right, Holy Priest. Flash heal healing increased by 10%. Heal increased by 10%. Powered life increased by 10%. Holy shit. So we move up here. Holy Priest got a 25% buff to Sanctify and Serenity again. It already got buffed by 40%. And then like we talked about, when it comes to Holy Priest, when you buff their healing, you're getting more Mastery healing too. So these two spells getting buffed is huge. Like, this is a huge change because they're going to get more mastery healing as well, on top of having more burst healing. And then if you scroll down, they're getting buffed on flash heal and heal. So, Power Word Life change, I'm not sure how much this affects Priest. A lot of people don't really play Power Word Life anymore on Holy Priest. But maybe if it does 10% more healing, maybe it'll be an option. These two changes, though, Flash Heal, Sanctify, and Serenity getting buffed is massive. So, I mean, they basically just gave Holy Priest more healing, which is what they need, right? Like, Holy Priest is one of those healers that, if it's going to be good, it just needs more healing. You don't have any damage reduction, so unless they mega buff their cooldowns, or they give them weird mechanics, or give them damage reduction mechanics, which means they're changing the class design, then they're not going to be good. Like, that's their current problem right now, is like, you either super buff their healing, you give them some form of damage reduction, or you give them crazy cooldowns. So it looks like they're going the route of buffing their healing, which I think is perfectly fine. I like that Holy Priest is unique in that way, where typically when they're good, they just have crazy HPS. So I like this, honestly. I think this is fine. Pretty crazy, though. So I think Holy Priest is definitely going to be more competitive. I don't think they're going to be OP, but they're definitely going to be more competitive, without a doubt. Ellie Shaman. Additional Lava Burst from Primordial Wave now deal 25% of normal damage in PvP combat, was 50. Okay, so they nerfed Primordial Wave from Ellie Shaman, but they buffed Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, nerfed Earthshock, buffed Lava Burst. Okay, so Earthshock hits really hard, and Earthshock gets buffed above, I think, with this talent, right? Like, it has a passive buff with their Farseer talent, this one. So Earthshock's getting a tiny damage reduction. They're buffing Lava Burst. Okay, so you're able... So I feel like the problem with Ellie right now is unless you have Ascendance up, your Lava Bursts feel like they don't really do anything. So it's kind of just Ascendance windows and Earthshock. So like Ascendance windows with either you press it or you get the proc, or you have Earthshock up, and your Lava Burst doesn't really feel too scary. So this is, I feel like, a nice change because it's going to make Lava Burst just scarier again. So the meatballs are going to hit hard. Okay. They buffed Storm Ellie, haste buff. I don't really see people play this, but maybe they will. And then buffed Lightning Rod. Okay. Resto Shaman. Lava Burst damage increased by 30%. Flame Shock damage increased by 30%. So, right off the bat, I think this is cool to see. I don't think this really does anything, but I think this is cool to see. Because I think Shaman is really weird because you don't actually heal on the class, and they're never going to allow Shaman to heal as much as a Druid or an Evoker or a fucking Pally or anything. They're never going to ever let them heal as much as those classes because of all the utility they have. With that being said, though, I feel like Shaman has a really bad problem right now with, one, their design, and two, their actual healing output. I think because of that, it makes it a lot more difficult, and it makes it impossible to do damage on Shaman because you're dying the whole time. So even though we're getting a damage buff, I feel like this doesn't do anything for them because they still have the same problem of dying the whole time. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this. Because I feel like it's the same thing as always, you know? Like, Shaman, if the casters are more involved, are going to be better. But with the game currently, with a lot of melee caster and a lot of cleaves, Shaman just feels like it's so behind on mainly just healing. Like, you're so behind the whole game because you have so much input, 12 different forms of healing, but none of them do anything. So I don't know. I feel like the damage buff is nice because you're gonna hit hard. Like, how Lava Burst already hits hard on Shaman. You already do decent damage, but the problem is you don't heal. So I feel like you're not gonna be able to do any damage. But maybe you have to force it. Maybe that's the thing in order to be more successful. Yeah, I don't know if you do so much that you don't need to heal, but you're definitely going to do more. I think Lava Burst already hits hard. Flame Shock already does decent damage too. Casting Lava Burst, round lost. Feral untouched. I'm pretty happy they didn't nerf Feral, to be honest, because I think Feral is in a spot that you want it to be, personally, where you can let Feral be good and just buff everything else. Because they already nerfed Feral's healing, the increased healing that Feral receives. So you just need to keep buffing everything else. Just buff everything else. That's what they should do. Feral's in a spot where you want it to be. Every Feral is really strong. Bias for Pika? Come on. Are we saying that now? Now, I can't win. First, if I ever made comments about a class, if I said anything regarding Shadow Priest, Shaman, and Rogue, I was told I was being biased. Even though I'm the one that gives pretty goddamn good takes. Now, if I say anything about Feral, I'm being biased about Feral. You guys got to pick one side and stick to it. You got to pick a spot, pick a stance, and stick with it. I can't have Feral bias because of Peekaboo's 1 month Feral. You got Bamboozles? You're so annoying. I don't like you. I don't like your name. I'm annoyed. All right. So let's see. How hard does Shaman hit? Let's see. This guy's name is You Got Bamboozled, and he just trolls chats, dude. That actually just tilted me so hard. Let's see. So one Flame Shock. One Lava Burst hits for 517. So Lava Burst hits for about 500k, which means when it gets buffed, it's going to be doing what? 650? I mean, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage, believe it or not. That's a lot of fucking damage. Yeah, but your Farseers don't matter, though. Like, the Farseer damage is pretty irrelevant. They already hit for nothing. The Farseer hits for like 60k or something. Let's see. I'm going to Flame Shock. I'm going to Unleash. Let's see how much the Ancestors do. Boom! All right, the Ancestor hit for 180k. I didn't get another Ancestor. Dude, the Ancestor's kind of pumping. I don't know. It's kind of pumping. Okay, so I think these changes are actually mega nerfs to Shaman. Because everyone's going to be trying to do damage on Shaman, and they're just going to die instantly. Every single Shaman in the game is going to try to spam damage and instantly die. These are nerfs. These are nerfs. These are mega nerfs. Mega nerfs, dude. Mega nerfs. Every Shaman in the game is going to try to spam damage now, and then you just die. You just die in 10 seconds. He's about to drop 200 CR. Oh my god. How much did they buff the Ancestors by? Let's see. So the problem is, you don't actually get to do any damage globals on Shaman. You're dead the entire time. You don't get to press damage globals. But they did buff it by 15%. I don't know. I think it's a good change, because I think Shamans being able to do damage is really important for how the class feels. Because it is a healer with like a lot of utility and offensive pressure. All right, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Affliction, Hellcaller. Blackened Soul damage increase by 15%. This got more crit damage on Wither. Zevrim's Resilience. What the hell is that? Dark Pact heals you every 1 second while active. That sounds like trash. Let's see, Hellcaller. Well, you don't even play Hellcaller, so would you... Okay, so I don't know what that even does. Okay. So I think you play Hellcaller when you play Destro, right? But you don't play it as Affliction? They got a 60% effectiveness buff. Okay, well, I feel like nobody's going to play this, so maybe they will. Maybe they will. I mean, 60% buff is normally pretty good. Unless it's like Living Balm or something, where it does actually nothing. If you get 60% buffed on something, it's going to be good. Mountain Thane, Lightning Strike damage increased by 50%. Okay. You play it over the other choice anyways? Yeah, I feel like you have to, right? Because the other one was... The other talent choice is like 10% reduced health and then more Soul Leech healing. These are the talents. So I feel like you would play it instead. Okay. All right, well, these are the changes. All right, guys, what are the big takeaways here? What are the big takeaways? These are all the changes. I feel like the number one takeaway from all of these changes, I would say Holy Priest buffs and Marksman Hunter buffs and Windwalker buffs. I feel like those are the top three. The Druid buff is definitely big, but I would say my top three, I think Holy Priest buff is big. I think the Holy Priest buff is huge, honestly. I don't know if they'll be meta, but more healing is more healing, man. They're getting a huge healing buff. So the Holy Priest buff is big. I think that the buff to Windwalker Monk and Marksman Hunter are really big as well. Because like Marksman Hunter right now, I feel like Marksman Hunter damage isn't even that bad right now. And they're getting 15% on aim shot and rapid fire, which is always what they end up buffing. Dude, Venruki's going to have such a bad... Dude, what day is this? When do these come in? November 26th. Guys, on November 26th, I implore all of you. All right? I implore you all to go into Venruki's chat on November 26th. Gift him 5 subs to play Fire Mage. Any spec of mage. It doesn't even matter. If people are playing Marksman Hunter, go into Venruki's chat. Gift him 5 subs to play mage all day long. The entire day. I will start it off. I will be there November 26th on Tuesday. I will go into a stream and I will give him 5 subs to make him play mage and watch him get one shot by hunters. Okay? That's our plan, baby. That's our plan. That's our plan. Fun fact, I did that once. I don't know if I have the clip still, but I actually did that once already to Ven. I came in and I gifted subs, and then 3 other people gifted him subs to play Fire Mage, and he immediately became depressed. That's not funny. It's not funny. All right, well, I mean, these are the changes. Cool. I'll link it again. Those are the changes coming on the 26th of November. 26th of November. I feel like those are pretty good changes overall. There's some stuff that I kind of don't agree with. And not even that I disagree with, but I would say I found odd. But I would say, yeah, I think overall, nice changes. And I'm excited to play Holy Priest, and I'm excited to play Druid. I'm excited for Holy Priest, and I'm excited for Resto Druid, because I feel like Resto Druid is going to be better too. I don't think it'll be OP, but I think it'll be more fun to play, which is always nice.